title of the evening is to be fought with 5 3-minute rounds and is for the FCC Amateur Middleweight Championship. Introducing first, the challenger, fighting out of the blue corner. He enters the cage tonight with a mixed martial arts record of 5 victories and 1 defeat, representing Blackburn Predators, Tarro Grogan. And his opponent standing across the cage, he is the current reigning and defending FCC Amateur Middleweight Champion, fighting out of the red corner, representing Team Elite and Hammer, Igor Puskarskis. Your referee in charge of the action is the Dean Weir.
Veteran referee Dean Weir taking command for this, the first of our title bouts here at FCC 14. In the middleweight division, Tarro Grogan from Blackburn Predators taking on the champ Igor Puskarskis from Team Elite and Hammer. Puskarskis sporting an incredible 9-0 record, Josh, undefeated as an amateur. Yeah. Tarro Grogan too impressive at 5-1.
Puskarskis really should be showing all the signs of a professional fighter at this stage. So much experience in the cage and getting backed up, but closes the distance. Asserts his own forward pressure against the cage here.
Grogan known for his aggressiveness.
Good double unders, body lock control for Puskarskis here. See if he can get the head involved. If he can force that head up under the chin, he can really put a bend in the spine.
And Puskarskis is known for his ability to really wear guys out in the grappling phase of mixed martial arts, really grind them down, break their wills. Can he do that to Tarro Grogan here tonight, or will the explosive Grogan be able to strike first?
Well, it's certainly a good start for Puskarskis in terms of that grinding pressure. Oh, but lovely forearm frame from Grogan. Just giving up the bottom position in the scramble, though. It's a judo kesugatami for Puskarskis, the head and the arm. And there was a moment there when Grogan could have escaped this. He possibly still could.
Puskarskis looking to effect a big squeeze here.
Yeah, I mean, if Puskarskis can get his hips off the ground and really arch back into it, he's giving up the hip pressure here and actually making it easier to get rolled or escaped.
Grogan looking to create some space here.
Yeah, with the knee shield, trying to keep those frames and stop that forward momentum of Puskarskis. He flattens his hips well and looks to walk around. And that's good work to get both shoulders back on the mat.
And we saw a finish from Puskarskis last time. He was known as more of a decision fighter prior to winning the FCC title earlier this year. But we really are hearing a lot of good things about this young man, training out Team Elite and Hammer.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing some good work to create enough space for himself to pass, but not really doing the right things to complete the passes here. And it's there, a good back step, and he would absolutely clear that leg. The guard was nullified completely there for a second, but staying in this half guard position, probably going to take this round off the basis of this top control anyway.
Oh, Josh, we actually heard Puskarskis' corner saying to him, stay there, stay there. He's racking up the points, and we know he can go the distance. Yeah, I mean, perhaps looking to shut Tarro Grogan out, or at least get him into the later rounds, drag him into deep water.
I mean, that's fair comment. If that is your game plan and that is the kind of fight that you would typically go for, grinding an opponent out, dragging them deep and wearing them down, then sitting in that half guard can be a very good option. But my point was, he wasn't sitting in a heavy, bassy half guard that puts pressure on someone. He was sitting in a really loose half guard that could have easily been put, passed to a more dominant position.
It's never a surefire indication, Josh, but when you look at the physique on a guy like Grogan, carrying a lot of muscle up in those shoulders and arms.
Yeah, will he burn out quickly?
Let's see if Grogan can put that muscle to good use, though, and put it on the champion here in the second round here at FCC 14. 5 3-minute rounds for the middleweight amateur title, currently taking pride of place on the mantelpiece of Igor Puskarskis. He wants to keep it there. Grogan wants to take it back to the Blackburn Predators gym.
Puskarskis with that very open right hand, that real parrying defensive style. Neither guy is really working jabs here. They're at the perfect range to put the other guy on the end of that lead hand and establish a range, but neither one doing so. So perhaps a few kinks to still work out in the striking department there.
Well, Puskarskis' corner asking for the jab, saying give him something to think about, so he's not just timing that inevitable body lock or takedown. Grogan looking to measure his man up for something here, perhaps an uppercut or a right hand over the top.
Well, I mean, that's all he's looking for, is that big right hand, and if he sets it up with something, he'd have far more success, but he's found his way into the clinch on the cage here. Good head position up under the chin, looking at the single now.
It's a king that often needs to be amateur, that needs to be ironed out in the amateur phase of a fighter's career. If they've got a jackhammer of a right hand, difficult to tell them not to use it, but that's what the amateur divisions are for. Yeah. And let's see what other tricks Tarro Grogan's got in his toolkit. Sprawls out nicely on the takedown there, Josh.
Yeah, Puskarskis dived from so far on the outside, and he has managed to work his way all the way in. Top position for him again here.
Puskarskis relentless on that one and eventually getting his man. Tarro Grogan looking over to his corner for instruction there. Looking to regain a full guard perhaps, and does. But as we saw in the previous round, Josh, Igor Puskarskis is happy to sit and grind away from that top position, put minutes on the clock and points in the bag.
Yeah, and that's probably what he's going to look to do here. He's driving the head up under the chin, trying to make it really uncomfortable, and he's putting his opponent's head on the cage. And you know what? If Grogan has no intention to stand up from here, he's just going to find himself pinned relentlessly in this position. Makes it so much harder to get your hips active when your head's off the mat. In fact, it's almost impossible.
Grogan really hanging on for dear life here. Just trying to pull the head of Puskarskis in close, stop him getting any leverage. Perhaps looking to Kimura grip that arm from the bottom, but Puskarskis immediately flattens himself down.
Yeah, Puskarskis again trying to move to that half guard. Good guard retention from Grogan, but he's got to be active. I'm amazed he hasn't tried to just walk up the cage here, put his back on the cage, start posting, get that left hand out, and really walk his way up the cage, because at the moment he's getting ground out again in this second round.
And once again, Igor Puskarskis putting points on the board with a suffocating top game. 2 rounds in the bag for the champion.
Yeah, and it's exactly what you highlighted his typical game plan is: grind out those rounds. And you know what it comes down to, what is the offense or defensive game plan on the back of his opponent. And you know, Grogan was searching perhaps for a Kimura, but his head was in so much danger up against the cage. He never really, you know, did the right things to create the space he needed.
And the little things like going for that Kimura grip from the bottom or being able to get out from underneath Puskarskis are only going to get harder for Tarro Grogan as this fight wears on, as they become a little bit more slippery, a little bit more tired. And you can see I would say at this point, Josh, the more tired looking man is the challenger at this stage in the fight.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment, Brad.
But it only takes one, and Tarro Grogan certainly packing a heck of a punch. It's a question we've not really seen answered about Puskarskis yet. How does he react to taking a big shot? I mean, thus far in his career, he's not really met someone that could put him in that position, and we thought that Tarro Grogan maybe would. 3 rounds to see it happen.
He certainly can if he can land. The problem is, it's the only punch he's throwing. So it's just not coming behind anything. It's not disguised, and it's becoming very predictable. Good driving takedown. Puskarskis did a good job there of getting his head up. As soon as the grip around the neck came for the guillotine, he got his head up, got his posture correct.
Again, Grogan looking to his corner for a bit of advice and encouragement. Puskarskis.
Big pickup. Oh, just overcommitted almost to that. Sometimes the problem with the big amplitude throws, and Puskarskis looks to pull guard here.
Obviously very confident on top and on bottom position on the mat is Igor Puskarskis.
Well, we're going to find out now, because it's unlikely he's going to come out in top position here.
It'll be interesting to see what Grogan tries to do here. Is he going to try and go something and look for the finish? Or is he going to try and ride it out and score some points on Puskarskis?
You know what, that being said, Grogan's hips are in a very strange position. If Puskarskis just turned in really strongly now, it'd be very interesting to see where the scramble would land.
It could be the cage at this point, the only thing keeping Igor Puskarskis from effecting a nice sweep here. Grogan content to ride this one out for now. Referee Dean Weir asking for a little bit of action, a little bit of improvement in position. And of course, just as we've mentioned before with these amateur rounds, it's obviously easier to rack up control points, but you have to be active.
Oh, good work from Grogan, and he's in on the neck here, actually looking for a mounted arm-in guillotine.
I'm just looking at the arm of Igor Puskarskis.
I know.
Has he gone out here, Josh?
He really might have.
That looks to be tight. No, he's still in the game.
Well,
He's just gone limp arm for a second.
I could absolutely understand what you were looking at there, Brad. It really did look for a second as though he was in some trouble. But he's going to end this round on top.
And perhaps a bit of frustration there for Tarro Grogan. He looked like he was on that choke really tight. Unfortunately, Igor Puskarskis weathers the storm and comes out smelling of roses. He's going to finish this round in a very strong position.
Yeah, and it's the same position we've seen several times already. That loose half guard with the knee shield, that frame trying to keep the weight off, but Puskarskis puts so much forward pressure with his upper body. It really does, it does get very oppressive on the bottom there.
3 rounds in the books here. FCC middleweight title action.
Yeah, and 3 rounds going the way of Igor Puskarskis, you probably have to say.
Could be some debate over that 3rd round. We did see Grogan on top. We did see him go for the submission, but attacks initiated by Puskarskis, you'd have to say.
But you see, it's funny, isn't it? A guy who's 9-0, who typically wins by decision, who's good at grinding people out. At a certain point, you have to say, where is the advancement? Okay, you need to start landing damage. You need to start improving your position even. You know, not necessarily sub-attempts. Let's improve your position and let's dominate rather than just grind. You know, at a certain point, there needs to be that personal development to take that next step up.
And equally, as we've said that about Puskarskis, we could say a similar thing about Tarro Grogan. He needs to evolve the striking game. And it's not even necessarily about turning into a wrestler or a grappler, but just put something else in front of that big right hand to keep Puskarskis honest. Put the jab in, put the kicks in.
I would say at the very least, turn it into a 1-2, at the very least. But you can see again, you know, it's just the right hand by itself. And you're never going to catch anybody who's seasoned, who's competent, who has experience with just that big right hand.
On the way he's throwing that right hand, perhaps a promising career in baseball if he ever gets tired of MMA.
There's certainly some power behind it. But Puskarskis again, looking to work those double unders.
And again, perhaps a bit of frustration coming in there for Tarro Grogan. His corner giving him instruction. He said, I'm trying. So frustrating to be stuck back to the fence against a guy as heavy and suffocating as Puskarskis. Puskarskis mixing it up now, throwing a few knees in there as well.
Yeah, that one found the mark. And that's the kind of thing he needs to do, you know. It's going to open up more opportunities for him to utilize this strong grip, these strong double unders. You can off-balance him with the strikes. He can then capitalize on the wrestling. But, you know, it's got to be a combination effort. And Big muscle takedown, the wizard defense saving Grogan there.
Perhaps that'll boost the confidence a little bit for Tarro Grogan. Josh, we talked about the cardio of Tarro Grogan, but I'm going to wonder, going into the 4th and 5th round, what's Puskarskis' cardio going to be like? We've seen over and over again when wrestlers do run out of gas, the takedowns get sloppy, the sprawl gets a bit sharper.
I mean, you know, he completed that takedown quicker than he had any others, but it was definitely slower coming in. It was definitely a little bit more labored. You know, and as you say, both guys, I think, perhaps looking equally fresh or tired, you know, coming into this these final rounds.
If Grogan can start sprawling out in some of these and picking his shots well, this could potentially be anyone's game.
We've seen this position over and over again in this fight. And the problem is that left arm of Tarro Grogan. He so readily gives up that underhook and then stays slightly too much on his back here. That left arm is around the head. It should be searching for that underhook. It should be helping him kick out. There you go. There's the underhook. And kick out and come up on a single. Perfect. That is exactly what he needed to do.
Much, much better from Tarro Grogan. Needs to make it count, though. Let's see if the man from Blackburn Predators can land something big final 10 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, this is where that right hand might pay off. When Puskarskis is tired in those scrambles, but he's got to throw it.
Grogan measuring his man. And a positive end to that round.
A positive end. It was a good move. It's exactly what he needed to do. He just needs to do it earlier and do it quicker and more decisively. Because that was another round that Puskarskis has managed to grind out and add to his scorecard. So as we go into the 5th and final, there's no doubt that Grogan's going to have to find something with that right hand.
Uncharted territory here for Tarro Grogan. And if we judge it by the end of that 4th round, looking like he might still have something for the champion. It's not over yet. Tarro Grogan still in with the bid at the FCC middleweight title. Igor Puskarskis, though, just 3 minutes away from his first defense. And a big following here from Blackburn for Tarro Grogan. A lot of fans cheering him on. One final big swig of water. Final 3 minutes left to play with here at FCC 14. Tarro Grogan in the Union Jack shorts. Igor Puskarskis in the black with blue trim. Brad Warren and Josh Palmer calling the action. And we are underway with our final frame. And now Grogan throwing out the jab. Goes back to that big haymaker of a right hand, though. I'd like to see it come up the middle with an uppercut.
Yeah, just keep his range here. Don't overcommit too much.
Nice head movement.
Good sprawl. Good heavy hips. Got to pin the head and move here. Good work from Grogan. Big shots now on this side wedge.
And let's see if Grogan can unload here, Josh. This is what we talked about, sprawling and doing some damage here in the 5th round.
Yeah, and they need to be big shots here. He needs to put the pressure on.
If Tarro Grogan could force a stoppage here, this would be an absolutely incredible comeback story. Big knee from Tarro Grogan.
Yeah, keep the range again. Don't let him close, but stay on him here. That's exactly what he needs to do. What a fantastic start to this round for Tarro Grogan. Sprawling again. He needs to pin the head quick. Crossface is absolutely there. That right arm needs to be in front of the face. There we go. Crossface and move to the back. And again, big shots in this side wedge would really help him.
And Puskarskis seems to have both hands of Grogan locked in. Big knees to the body from Grogan.
Yeah, and he just needs volume here. This is, he needs to open up.
A decision win is not going to be enough at this point, Josh.
No, and you can tell that Puskarskis knows this. That's why he's holding on to the hand and glove for everything he's worth here.
Holding on for dear life is Puskarskis. Grogan can't afford to get stuck in the guard.
And he can't afford to spend time trying to pass the guard. He just needs to posture and throw punches, stand over his man, and really try and sit his hips down and drop some big shots, because grinding it out from the guard is not going to do it for him here.
Not much time to work now as we approach the end of this 5th and final frame.
Yeah, he's got to stand and posture. This kind of range, you know, with the frame in place, he's never going to generate the power he needs to put him away.
Grogan really giving it everything he's got. Puskarskis hanging on to that arm.
It's just such a shame it took until the 5th round for him to find the momentum to do this. I mean, that's a great guard pass, but now he's got to sit on his hip and just open up with that right hand for everything he's worth. You know, or he's got to try to go a knee on belly and just land big hammer shots, just something. He needs volume and he needs power.
Trying to pin the arm to the mat, looking for the crucifix as the final 10 seconds approaches. Short punches.
What a round for
Tarro
Grogan.
It's over. It won't be enough, but the moral victory perhaps to Tarro Grogan.
I mean, how?
Igor Puskarskis, though, will in all likelihood have made the first defense of his FCC middleweight title, and Josh, that one certainly picked up towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, how much can you swing momentum in the space of a round? You know, we were sitting there saying that Tarro Grogan had to do something. You know, he was on the back foot, he was certainly down on the scorecards, and what a fantastic response from him. It just came around.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for these two fantastic warriors this evening. And after 5 hardcore rounds, we go to our judges. With a majority decision, your winner, and still FCC Amateur Middleweight Champion in the red corner, Igor Puskarskis. And let's cheer for his opponent this evening. Let's cheer